But the only reason I tell you that is God is greater than the sum of everything he created. So if you're into astrophysics, the universe is unbelievable. If you're studying the earth and geology and life here, it's amazing. And if you even look a little bit at the spirit world, it's amazing. And God is greater than all that added together. But why does he tell us all this? Well, what can demons do? Well, that's what we're into right now. When demons are allowed to become predators, they can inflict torture. Now, God allowed Satan or one of his minions to strike Job's body with boils. Wow. God allowed Satan to send what we would call a tornado in Job's time, a wind that swept out of the wilderness and destroyed, collapsed a house. We would call that a tornado. God allowed Satan to send his minions to kill all of Job's servants through the Sabaeans. You understand what I mean? When allowed, you say, how do they get allowed? Well, what's going on right now? God's on the throne. What does Job 1 and 2 tell us? There are certain times God allows Satan and some of his demons to come in front of God's throne. Wow. He lets them up there. Yeah. I don't know why. Ask me why. I don't know. But it does show us something. What is Satan called? One of his names. He's called the accuser of the saints. So Satan, by the way, that's the Hebrew word Satan, means adversary. So Satan is God's adversary. What does he do? He accuses Christians. How does he do that? Well, Satan comes up, and here's God on the throne, and he goes, do you see what Job is doing? You see Job? Well, you protected Job. If you stop protecting Job, he'll curse you. God says he will not curse me. He will. Stop protecting him. So God says, okay, you can take away all of that he has. Satan, boom, does. Tornado, Sabaeans. Job doesn't curse God. So Satan comes, it says, Job 1, Satan comes again. Satan says, well, if you touch his body, he'll curse you. See, Satan is the accuser, and he's doing that now. And that's why 1 John chapter 2 says, we have an advocate with God. Here's God the Father on the throne. There's Satan accusing us. And stepping between God the Father and Satan is Jesus. And he says, he's one of mine. And he intercedes for us. So it's amazing. There's so much going on we don't even think about. And the Bible describes all this stuff, and it's kind of a lifelong process of studying it and getting amazed by it. But in chapter 9, when demons are allowed to become predators, they can inflict torture. You can see that right in front of it. When the real destroyer is unleashed, God offers a preview of hell. Okay, let's just look at one angel in depth, okay? And we can't take long. But I just want to note with you just the power of the destroyer, only because he's talked about so many times in the Bible. He's talked about in Exodus 12:23. We'll go on that one. 2 Samuel 24, it's the death angel that comes and kills 70,000. 1 Corinthians 10:10, Paul says, and they were killed by the destroyer. And here he is. Look at verse 11. This is one mean angel, fallen angel. And they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit. That's where he lives. That's where he's kept. He's so bad, so malignant, so lethal, deadly, that God keeps him down there. I mean, if he let him out, he'd kill everybody. One angel would kill everybody. He's that awful. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon. In Greek, he has the name Apollyon. Apollo? Apollyon. Wow. One woe is past, behold, two more woes are coming. So let's talk about this one. Abaddon or Apollyon. How about right here? This is the Exodus, the Passover night. What did that angel do that night? Well, that one angel, without any special forces, without any night vision goggles, without any Black Hawk helicopters, without any satellites, was able to swoop into Egypt. God let him out of the pit for the night. and he assigned him, you can kill the firstborn in every house, the firstborn child and the firstborn animal in the stable, in every house in Egypt, except the ones that are in a house that has a blood marked on the top and bottom and sides of the door. So you took a little hyssop, which was a little bit of weeds, you dipped it in a bowl, and while it was dripping off, you hit the top and bottom of the door. And then you got it, and again, and you hit both sides of the door. Do you know what net effect would be to do the top and bottom and both sides? You'd make a cross. It's very interesting. It's one of the few pictures of the cross in the Old Testament. So all the children of Israel that hid behind a blood-marked door, this angel, that one, couldn't go in there. He saw it, and he was supposed to, what does the Bible say? Pass over that house. That's what Passover comes from. By the way, that was the original Friday the 13th. Did you know that? In history. Because when is Passover? It's the 14th. The night before Passover is the 13th. Passover starts at sundown on Friday night. So at sundown on Friday the 13th, before Passover on Saturday, that started Friday night, went into Saturday. But that has nothing to do with it. But what did that angel do? He could identify, just like that, in every home, the firstborn child, and killed him in their crib, bed, or wherever they were, in the gym, wherever they were. Instantly killed him. Number two, he could discover the firstborn of the livestock. Now let me ask you, how would we do that today? Oh, America would take a, KC-130 or something and put in these mobile DNA things, and they'd go get samples, and they would quickly run samples and find out who was the firstborn of the children. You could find out who's the oldest by doing a sample, and the same with the livestock. And by the time they did the first house, it would have taken about 20 minutes. And he instantly went through the entire nation in the dark, only got the firstborn child and the firstborn of the livestock, and noticed in the dark the blood. All of our military combined couldn't do that in one night. They just blow them all up, They couldn't figure it out. That's how powerful this one angel is. And what this precipitates is, by the time we get to chapter 9, verse 13, look at this. The sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns, and the sixth angel said, now release the four angels who are bound by the river Euphrates. So we've let out this destroyer guy who's been leading all this 5 months of torture, and he's still out of the pit, and now they let out the four angels that are in cohorts. They're also bound, and look what they do. They kill, verse 15, a third of mankind. Awful. The greatest loss of human life arrives. Trumpets 6 releases 4 demons in conjunction with this destroyer. They're allowed by God to lead a demonic army that numbers 200 million horsemen. They destroy 1/3 of all remaining humans. By the way, this is not to be confused with the event that's later in chapter 16. This is a demon army of 200 million horsemen, not 200 million Chinese. You ever heard that? Only China has enough soldiers to have 200 million, and they're going to come across the Euphrates, and they're going to invade Israel. It doesn't say that. It's a demonic army led by 4 demons, and they're all captured and kept in prison until they're allowed out with the destroyer to kill 1/3. This is totally different. This is in Revelation 16, it's a human army that's led by demons, 3 demons this time, that are like frogs that the Antichrist releases, and they had to destroy Jerusalem and fight God at Armageddon. So just for you to know.